So thank you, Ms. Block, for coming in today. My name is Ms. Allison Robbins. I will be the one, chatting with you today, seeing what's going on, trying to figure out how best we can be of service to you. Now, before we jump into things, I do want to just kind of briefly go over some elements of confidentiality, just really kind of helping to, put your mind at ease, as well as letting you know kind of where our limitations are. So everything that we, things that we do discuss today will be kept confidential between you and myself. There are indeed some limitations to that confidentiality. So if you do express that you are either experiencing or know somebody that is experiencing anything related to child abuse, elderly abuse, or abuse of a disabled person, I am required by law to get into contact with the proper organizations. Also, if you do tell me anything about wanting to hurt yourself or another, we'll delve into that more deeply to try and figure out what's going on there, really to make sure that you and everybody else in that situation is safe. However, if it's something that I don't think that we can take care of here in session, we would have to find other alternatives to be able to deal with any type of suicidal or homicidal ideation. Okay?
Okay.
So any questions or concerns right now?
I don't think so.
All right, perfect. So why don't you go ahead and talk to me a little bit about kind of what prompted you to come in today?
Well, my school counselor wanted me to come in today. I'm a senior in high school.
Okay.
And I have currently kind of been, withdrawn. It's actually been for a while. I don't really go out. I spend a lot of time on the computer.
Okay.
And I've just been feeling kind of, I guess you could say, hopeless lately. I feel like, I'm going to be graduating and I don't really know what I'm going to be doing going forward. And I'm just feeling, maybe my counselor thought that I wasn't feeling 100%.
Okay. So it sounds like you got a lot of stuff going on right now, and it sounds like it's kind of leaving you feeling a little bit kind of uncertain about where you're going next.
Yeah.
So how long have you been having those feelings of hopelessness?
Well, I've kind of gone in and out of periods of feeling kind of sad since I was really young.
Okay. Do you mind if I actually take a few notes while we discuss, just to make sure I keep on track? Okay, perfect. Thank you. So when would you say that kind of those feelings of sadness started when you were younger?
It's hard to say. My parents are divorced now. And when I was younger, I was mostly with her. And, I don't remember everything because I think I was 7 when I stopped living with her.
Okay.
But I do remember kind of having to take care of myself all the time. And, her being involved in things like drug abuse. And she said a lot of hurtful things to me during that time period.
So it sounds like that was a really rough time in your life. Now you mentioned you moved out of living with your mother when you were 7, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. When did your parents finally get a divorce?
They get a divorce probably around the time that I was 10 or so.
Okay.
But I believe I started living with my father prior to that.
Okay. So whenever you left your mother, did you go and stay with your father? Or did you stay with other family members or friends?
Yeah, I stayed with my father.
Okay.
I was briefly with a grandmother, my father's mother, for a time period. My father's in the military, so he wasn't kind of always around.
So whenever you were living with your mom when you were 7, were they technically still together? Or were they separated at that time?
They were technically still together.
Okay, okay. Tell me a little bit more about what it was like living with your mom for you.
Yeah. It was really difficult. She would call me ugly and bad, and I never really got any positive support from her. I never really felt loved by her. And I just felt kind of neglected.
I would imagine so. I mean, it sounds as though she really didn't give you, positive feedback or anything that felt warm to you.
Exactly.
Were there moments that you felt more connected to her?
No, I would say not. She was always kind of manipulative, I guess you could say.
Okay, okay. You did mention that she abused drugs, is that correct?
Yes. That's kind of what I found out later on.
Okay, so you weren't aware of that whenever you were younger?
Well, I guess I didn't know what it was.
Okay. Yeah. Do you know how long she had been using substances or what she had been using?
I believe for quite a while. I'm not sure exactly what. I mean, I think they were getting to be pretty hard stuff.
Okay, okay. I imagine that was pretty scary news to hear whenever you finally heard out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
How'd you react to that? To hearing that was what your mom had going on, and also looking back what that meant.
Yeah. It's hard for me. Like, I still have those voices in my head that she said to me back then. I think that's what my school counselor really wanted me to talk to someone about.
Okay.
Just kind of overcoming those feelings of those tough feelings.
So whenever you think about yourself, what terms would you put with you? I know it's a loaded question.
It's a loaded question. I would say sometimes I feel disgusting, and a lot of times when I'm near boys and stuff, I feel like I'm not good enough.
Okay.
And I feel fat. And I feel like I'm, unworthy sometimes, maybe.
Those are some very, very hard, difficult terms to kind of associate with yourself. I know I would imagine that with all of that, you'd feel very, hopeless and helpless about kind of the future whenever it's difficult to see who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel, now with the, kind of the negative voices that you have going on, the hopelessness, as well as some of the feelings of sadness, it sounds like you were seeing a counselor beforehand. Was there something in particular that happened that kind of was what, kind of spurred you or motivated you to come in to see me?
Well, I was also bullied a lot as a young person, especially in middle school. So I had a lot of that going on, and I think my school counselor just felt like I needed more in-depth therapy than I could get at school.
Okay. Okay. How long has the bullying been going on?
Well, it's not going on so much anymore.
Okay. So that was predominantly middle school?
Yeah.
Okay.
But, it still have, the kids were really mean to me, and, that's other things that I still have in my head that I'm trying to, distance myself from.
Yeah.
I was kind of like the I was the goth kid in middle school, and I wore all black, and I painted my fingernails, and like nobody really like wanted to be friends with me, and they would just like call me weird and stupid, and just kind of made me feel like I didn't want to like be alive anymore.
Do you ever have feelings about that nowadays?
Sometimes.
Have you had any recently?
Yes, it's more about the idea of like death though, like what would it be like if I died?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, so with kind of, wondering about what it would be like, if you died, have you ever thought about, actually going through with it? Or, how you would go about that? Have those thoughts ever popped up?
No.
Okay. So it's mainly stayed within the realm of, in your head.
Yeah.
It's still hard to keep it inside your head and have those feelings.
Yeah, it is. Like I said, it kind of goes up and down. I mean, there's periods where I will feel fine, like if I have something to look forward to. Like a really awesome concert coming up, for instance, my dad just bought me tickets to. It kind of like gives me a little boost.
Yeah.
But then like when other like things, like when I don't have those things to look forward to, then I just get really in my head, and I feel like I'm like, just in my house in a dark little corner, and like, the sun could be shining outside, but I feel like everyone else is in the sun, and like I'm in the dark. It's like kind of how it is sometimes.
Yeah. What happens, I know you spoke earlier about kind of losing interest in things, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me a little bit more about that.
To be honest, I've never been the type of person to like go out all the time. But it's probably, I mean, now I go to school and then I go home and I'm like online a lot. Like I'll be like talking to some people, my friends on Twitter or whatever. I have a big following on like Tumblr. So I'm always on those, but I don't really like that interaction doesn't extend to going out. It's more I'm just always on technology.
Okay.
And I think that it's really hard for me to like make myself do things.
Okay. So it sounds like, computer, internet, those sorts of things are things that you like. And that's, definitely, it's good that you have those interests still. Do you want to get out and be more sociable?
Sometimes I think I do, and sometimes I think I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in those moments that you think you don't,
Yeah.
tell me more about that.
I mean, I feel like kind of similar to what I said before, just kind of like I'm in a dark hole,
Kind of dark hole, can't see the sun type.
Yeah. Just kind of like feeling down about myself.
Have you ever encountered, like, if there, was something that you wanted to go to? Do you ever have difficulties getting yourself to go to those things, even if you, may want to go?
Yeah. Sometimes. And I feel like my friends, like I do have friends, I guess, in school, but I don't ever feel like I'm included in their activities. So, kind of, I just feel like I'm not included, but maybe I am. I don't know. Maybe that's how I like perceive it.
And it's so difficult to really kind of figure out what's going on between, what you feel is happening and then what may actually be going on, especially with friends, since there's so much communication in there that things get lost so easily. But it's a hard feeling to have, to feel unwanted, especially since this is something that you have struggled with, since early childhood with your mother.
Yeah.
It's a lot of stuff going on, especially during your senior year of high school.
Yeah.
So I do want to kind of just summarize a little bit and make sure that, the things that you've told me that I do have right.
Yeah.
So experiencing some kind of, like negative self-image, negative thoughts of yourself, feelings of sadness, hopelessness, kind of a loss of interest and difficulty getting out and interacting with people, or in having fun. Would you say that is?
Yeah, I'd say it's a pretty good summary.
Anything in particular to that I'm missing that you think I should know?
Let's see if I didn't tell you, if I told you everything. I think I did.
Okay. Okay. So I just want to go into a little bit more of the specifics about what you got going on to really hash it out. So with some of the feelings of, sadness that you say you've been having, tell me a little bit more about what it's like to experience that.
Yeah. Well, it's the hopelessness and feeling like there's like no point to life, and feeling withdrawn from like activities and doing things, and
Do you feel like you've lost interest in things that we once found pleasurable?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And I know earlier you said it was kind of hard to figure out, since it's been going on since childhood. Have you noticed any increase in like the issues and the feelings that you're having?
Partly only because I'm trying to figure out, what I'm doing after school. Besides that, probably not, but that's probably like a trigger for me right now.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Those types of stressful times.
Yeah.
Did you ever notice more feelings of, sadness or hopelessness whenever you are feeling, stressed out by school or family or any other type of life events?
Yeah. Those can be triggers for me.
Okay. So you would say that there's a connection there?
Yeah.
Okay.
But sometimes it just comes on out of the blue also if I don't have things going on.
Okay. So kind of a lack of excitement, and it's easy to just get drawn within yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. What does your dad think about all of this?
I don't know. I mean, I think sometimes he's like wanting me to get out, but then I say to him, well, at least I'm not out getting in trouble like the people he sees on TV, or her dad is, my dad is ex-military.
Okay.
And so, he's kind of put the fear in me in terms of getting in trouble. And, I tell him, like, at least I'm not out doing drugs, and, but he's not the most social person either, so I think he's okay with it.
Okay.
But we do have fights occasionally.
Now, does he know that you came here to see me?
Yes.
Okay. And how was he with that?
He's like, not thrilled, I guess, but he's not, kind of just doesn't talk about it.
Okay. How would you describe your relationship with him?
It depends. It's like not bad, but I wouldn't say it's great. Like, he gets mad at me if I'm like, can't get out of bed for school.
Okay.
And he'll kind of like pull the covers off me and be like, if you can't get up for school, how are you going to get up for a job or stuff like that? You know, kind of make me feel like I can't do anything, like I'm not good enough.
Okay. And I imagine kind of having those feelings, still within your own household must be hard for you.
Yeah, especially since it's just the two of us. Like,
Yeah.
I wish there was like someone else to like mediate.
Yeah. Play third party and everything.
Yeah.
Are you still in contact with your mother?
No, she will occasionally try to contact me, but through, text or Facebook, but recently, probably last year, I haven't even responded because she's just not a person that I want to be in contact with.
Okay. Are there other members of your family or friends that you find yourself particularly close to?
I don't have a large family, but I do see my father's family. Occasionally I'll go, with him when he sees them, but most of them aren't my age.
Okay.
But they're nice, but a lot of times I'm just kind of like bored.
Gotcha. Do you feel as though if you needed it, do you think they would be there to support you?
I think they would. I think I know that my dad loves me, even though I don't think he expresses it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But my family probably would be there. Yeah.
Yeah, the emotional expression is sometimes hard with military individuals.
Yeah.
My father was also military, so it's a very unique personality style, and it's sometimes can be difficult, especially in familial or intimate relationships with those members to get them to emotionally open up.
To kind of connect.
Mm-hmm. And I can imagine that it's, especially for how young you are, it's hard to go through life and not feel loved.
Yeah.
And to have those insecurities. And it sounds like some of those things and those experiences that you had early on, maybe what's fueling some of the sadness and hopelessness and the feelings that you have going on right now.
Yeah.
How are things going with school?
School. If I do my work, I do really pretty well.
Okay.
But the problem with me is that I get bored and then I go on the computer and I start talking on the computer and then I'm like, oh, where did the time go? I need to do my work.
Okay.
Or, like in my I'm in biology right now, and I got like a really bad grade on a test that I studied a lot for, and it just got me mad, and then and now I don't even want to do work for that class.
Overall, how are your grades doing? Have you noticed any drops or any issues with them?
I mean, way better than, or a little better than last year. So I'm kind of proud of myself that I've been keeping up a little more because of looking ahead into college. But I still have those times when I just don't want to do work.
Okay.
So I have a few A's. So really it's I have a few A's, but then I have a few C's also.
Okay. Would you say that, how's your motivation?
Not great.
Okay.
Yeah. It's it takes a lot of effort for me to really do the hard work that I have to do.
Okay. What is it about that work that you find yourself having difficulties with?
Maybe, I don't know, with the biology test, I've been thinking about it and I feel like I'm scared that if I actually tried and I did poorly, it makes me feel like there's something that I just can't do well for whatever reason. So that makes me not want to try again because I don't want to feel that way again.
Have you ever had that experience in the past?
Yeah, I guess so.
How'd you respond whenever it occurred then?
Just didn't do the work.
And how did that end up for you?
Not well.
Okay. Okay. But I can definitely see how kind of getting that bad grade would be, frustrating. But then it also leaves you kind of feeling like a pop balloon, very deflated. So I can definitely see where that could be coming from and those concerns.
Yeah. I think a lot of people tell me that I'm smart, but like, I don't feel like I know. I just feel like I'm like stupid.
Would you say that whenever you do get those bad grades, do you hold on to it and think about it over and over and over?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like ruminate on it over and over and over.
Do you find that you're able to, are there ways for you to get yourself to move on from that thought, or ways that you found to be able to cope or to get, over those negative feelings?
I listen to music.
That's good.
That helps a little bit.
What type of music you like?
I like rock, and I like some pop stuff. I'll go to concerts and
Okay.
my concerts. Yeah.
Well, it's good that you do have that.
Yeah.
But, hey, music is something that can join a whole lot of people. It speaks to you on an emotional level.
It is.
So it's good that you do have, something that you still find fun and pleasurable.
Yeah.
Even whenever things can be overwhelming. In addition to listening to music, are there other things that you find help you?
People tell me I should like run and work out, but I never do.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times I'll just like eat to like, I think that I just don't think about it. I just try not to think about things and I'll just like eat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Have you seen
maybe
any?
That's a coping mechanism, but
Definitely so. It could definitely be. Food is an easy access coping mechanism.
yeah.
How do you, with the eating that you've been doing, how does that make you feel?
Not good after. In the moment, it feels really good, but afterwards, it does not feel good.
Tell me a little bit more about in the moment.
I think you get that like high from just eating something good.
Mm-hmm.
Just over and over. And it helps to like not think about things.
Okay. Yeah, definitely so.
Yeah.
Kind of a break from everything.
Yeah.
Now, whenever it's over, have you ever used any type of behaviors to get rid or make up for all the food that you've eaten?
Yeah. When I was like pretty recently, I guess, because I was talking about it with my school counselor. But it doesn't happen a lot, but sometimes I'll throw up.
Okay.
Just to like get it out of my system.
And do you force yourself to throw up?
Yeah.
Okay. When did that first start happening?
I guess relatively recently. In high school, I guess. Probably not before high school.
Okay.
Maybe I like heard about it from friends and then like started doing it.
Okay. How often would you say that it occurs?
Maybe like once every few months or something.
Okay.
Maybe it coincides with things happening in life. I don't know.
It definitely could happen. I mean,
Yeah.
feeling so, overwhelmed and stressed that you want some type of outlet,
Yeah.
it can be one that numbs
Right.
things for a period of time, but it never gets rid of it.
Yeah.
It's kind of a very vicious cycle of coping whenever it comes with eating, and especially any type of compensatory behavior like self-induced vomiting, laxatives, or even, excessive workout, restricting, all of those sorts of things. They can have really hard effects like later on.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that once you kind of set that wheel rolling, it can be very difficult to stop. So that would be something I would caution you about.
Yeah.
Grab, get, reach. good. We're at 30. All right, well, let's do a wrap up then.
Okay.
I don't think I have to tell you what treatment or anything. Okay. So just to kind of summarize, things that we've talked about today. So we talked about, some of your feelings of, sadness and hopelessness, some of the issues with motivation and staying, interested, kind of losing interest in some of the things that were pleasurable. And a lot of this does seem, like I was saying earlier, to possibly be coming from, some of the experiences that you've had throughout your childhood. With your mom being kind of verbally and emotionally detached from you, kind of sets you up. I mean, it kind of sets your perspective of yourself in a very negative light even early on. And it sounds like that has been kind of, you've had a lot of things thrown on you with the bullying and the difficulties with your father, that, all of these feelings and emotions and behaviors coming up, it's not abnormal.
Yeah.
You are not alone in what you're going through. And I do think, possibly you would really benefit from, actually engaging in some type of, clinical therapy where we can really, hash out some of these thoughts and ideas that you're having and try and figure out new coping, strategies for you, new ways to be able to give you a new outlook on life.
Yeah.
Now, is that something that you would be interested in doing?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then why don't we, try and set you up for like a second appointment or something, have you come in and, still give you plenty of time to, feel it out and make sure that this is right for you. Because that's ultimately what it comes down to.
Right.
Okay? All right.